Talk Shoes.
Recorded live.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Notes from a Ghostwriter. We've got a really fun and informative show planned for you tonight. Joining us, as always, is Robert de Santis, our producer, and we have a very special guest tonight, Sandie LaNae of Thin Veil Investigators. Hi, Sandie. Hi, Rob.
Hi.
Everybody there?
Hi, how are you doing?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Just 1 second, I'm just losing something here. Okay, I'm losing my voice, actually, now that we're talking about that. Okay, before we chat, I'd just like to start off with our regular segment on haunted locations, and please feel free to comment if you're interested. Tonight I'd like to introduce you to some haunted buildings and locales in Arcadia, California, and I'd like to give credit to the shadowlands.net for this compilation. In Arcadia, we have the Arboretum on Baldwin Avenue. This was once the home of Chief Buffalo Child Longlands, a 1930s actor. He claimed to be a Native American, but he was exposed by a reporter to be African American, and this drove him to suicide. His ghost has been seen by many, including Aaron Spelling. The house was used as Mr. Rourke's house on the TV show Fantasy Island. Arcadia High School is said to be haunted by a janitor who walks the kitchen and indoor cafeteria. Students say they have actually encountered the ghost, and it is said late at night, if you're in the foyer, you can hear him walk up and down the kitchen and cafeteria, pushing a squeaky cart with cleaning tools rattling in it. There is a general Arcadia poltergeist. In May 1976, on a memorial night, rocks of all sizes started lifting off the ground and hitting places, people, and breaking windows and cars and houses. No one was able to explain it. It was happening off and on for 3 months. This phenomena was investigated by Duke University and was written up in the LA Times, apparently in a 6-week series. There is not much info on this event, and there was no explanation given to the people who were attacked by the strange occurrence. It was merely covered up and forgotten. Strange. The Derby Restaurant is haunted on East Huntington. George Wolfe, also known as the Iceman, bought the Derby Restaurant in 1938. The famous jockey died 8 years later after suffering fatal injuries when he was thrown off a horse at the Santa Anita Raceway. Employees are convinced he is still looking over his old restaurant. Footsteps can be heard going up the stairs to his old living quarters above the restaurant, and his presence is felt throughout the building. Another school haunting, First Avenue Middle School. The school used to have a pool, but someone drowned in it and it was covered over. Teachers said they've heard footsteps at night through the halls, even after they've set the alarm. Loud banging on the lockers and girls' locker room doors have also been heard, and water goes on and off by itself. The toilets also flush by themselves. Lockers with locks on them are closed 1 minute and open the next, even when there's no one else in the room. Some students have seen a figure of a little boy wandering through the halls late at night with a green glow to him. The Santa Anita Mall, again in Arcadia, the Westfield Shopping Mall is another name for it. The toy store inside the Santa Anita Mall is said by employees to be haunted by a little boy in early 1930s clothing. An employee was closing the store at night when they spotted a little boy in knickers in one of the aisles playing with one of the toys. The employee was shocked and thought he was left behind by a parent, and when she approached the little boy to ask him where his parents were, he appeared to be transparent and disappeared as she got close. Another sighting of the little boy was again after hours when 2 male employees of the mall were inside Macy's and happened to spot a little boy standing with his back to them by the escalator to go down, as though in awe of the escalator. When they started to walk up to him to tap him on the back, the little boy ran down the escalator without actually having touched the steps and vanished once at the bottom. And another restaurant, the Tacolita. The men's restroom is said to be haunted by an elderly man wearing a yellow sweater, say a few witnesses on the web. Many have seen him walk into the bathroom but haven't actually seen him in there. Okay, that's what I have for Arcadia. If anyone has any more information, please email me at Zsuzsana@arcanamatrix.com or email the show directly. I've actually had some requests for specific haunted places from some of our listeners, and I'll make a point to research them for upcoming shows. It's good to know what's lurking in our own backyards, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. It's always good to know, yes.
Yeah. So once again, everybody, please let me introduce a dear friend of mine for many years, Sandie LaNae.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Sandie. When I need a psychic reading, this is the first lady I turn to. Sandie reads clairvoyantly from crystals and gemstones and has been honing this special craft since about 1984. Is that right, Sandie?
Yes, it is. Uh-huh.
Yeah. In addition to about 114 different stones, Sandie also uses a feather, a manzanita stick, coral, and seashells in her readings, with each piece being programmed with its own meaning. You can visit Sandie at www.sandiespsychicstones, all one word, .com for more info on her readings and services. In addition, Sandie is a member of Thin Veil Investigators in Carson City, Nevada, and I can't wait to hear more about her work. Why the name Sandie Thin Veil Investigators?
Well, that name is chosen because that's how we really interact with the other side. Usually, the veil is thinnest. That's the story, how it goes on Halloween night. But because our team members are so intuitive and sensitive, actually that veil is thinnest for us every day of the year. So that kind of, with us working on the other side, that name really fits with what we do.
Yes. Is there any truth to the fact that the veil thins at midnight or on certain moon phases?
Well, I believe that's the story, and that's the way it goes. Usually a lot of us on the team, when we do get to that time of night on Halloween night, we really feel a lot more than, I can't really say we feel a lot more than we usually do, but maybe there's just more activity and busyness going on. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's coming up soon. You must be excited.
Oh, yes. Halloween is my favorite time of year. So, yes.
I can imagine. When was the team first established?
Well, it's been established since November of 2005, but quite a few of us have been a ghost hunting individually for many, many years. So together we make a pretty good team because we're really in tune and really in sync with each other. We work real good, and we need each other to verify and clarify, and also to keep each other safe.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's a really important point, yes.
It really is. Yeah, never go ghost hunting alone. It's always best to go in pairs or threes.
Right. Somebody to hold on to.
Yeah, exactly.
I tend to get very scared. I need people to hang on to.
Oh, there's been times where, we need to turn around and leave.
Definitely. Well, how many team members on the team?
We have 6. We have 5 women and 1 man. And we work really good together. Some we've known for many years, and some we've just known for a couple of years. Mm-hmm.
And what is your role with the Thin Veil team?
Well, I'm a psychic, okay, and I'm what they call a clairsentient. I smell, I know, I see, I hear. And I was asked to join the team a couple of years ago because I can see those who have crossed over. It's part of my job as a psychic. I have clients that come to me wanting to know if a friend or a loved one, a family or friend has crossed over and how they're doing. I happen to be able to see the people on the other side in great detail. And so on a ghost hunt, I can pick out who we're talking with, male, female, what they look like. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That doesn't scare you?
No, actually it's pretty cool because it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for my gifts that I can do that. And then sometimes, too, they won't show themselves to me, but I can sense that they're there. Mm-hmm. I just kind of know what they look like. But it's really fun when they more or less manifest for me, so I can see the color of their clothing, facial features.
That's amazing. Now, would they manifest for you upon being asked? Or, if say they're not there at first, would you be able to ask them and have them manifest?
Only maybe if I'm by myself because it's very unnerving. Mm-hmm. Okay, my other
for them or for you?
For me and everybody else that might be watching. Yeah, it's very unnerving to have a spirit manifest fully in front of you because your subconscious mind knows that they've crossed over. Why are they standing in front of you? So a lot of the times they will just come to me in my mind. Okay, in my third eye is where I really see them. Right. Although I can see them with my vision, okay, with my eyes and with my third sight, they won't manifest for the other team members because it is, like I said, pretty unnerving to see something like that.
Mm-hmm. But would the other team members pick up something as well, even though they're not actually seeing an apparition?
Yes, they do, because each and every one of us has got our own gifts. We're like clairaudient, which means that one team member, she hears things. She just hears them talking to her. She hears the sounds of maybe what their clothing is making. Another team member, she's a sensitive, and she knows who or what's in front of us. She knows where they're standing or where they're sitting, and so sometimes she can pick up on things even before I do because she senses them. She knows they're there.
Right.
A couple other team members, they've just been working all their lives with the other side, and they too are intuitive and sensitive to where they pick up and sense who's in front of us. So together, we really know what who's in front of us and who's not. And It's interesting, too, because when we do an interview, we know when they're standing in front of us or when they've left.
Oh, my goodness.
Sometimes a spirit will, get upset with a question that we might pose to them that they really don't want to answer, and they'll just leave, and we know that. So
that's amazing. Now, do you and the other team members corroborate any of this evidence while you're doing the investigation or just afterwards?
Well, actually, what we do is, of course, we're together and we verify some things, but when we make the reports up for the people that have asked us to come in and investigate, none of us get together and talk about what we have seen, heard, felt. We each do an individual report, then we get together, and it's quite amazing how our stories will mesh.
Right, that's what I was wondering, how well they mesh, but that's amazing that they do.
Yeah, we feel the same. Of course, the reports will be individual, but it's just amazing how we will put in our reports the same thing. But no, after we leave an investigation, we don't have any contact with each other outside of, not with the reports of the investigation until we've each got our reports done. Of course, we talk to each other and things, but not about the investigation.
Right. But that really lends a lot of credence to the whole thing, to do it like that. Yeah, amazing. So, Sandie, what type of areas have you investigated?
Well, I live in Carson City, Nevada, and it's got a lot of Wild West history, and it's got a lot of mining history, ghost towns. It has a lot of political history because Carson City is in a capital of Nevada.
Right.
And so, plus, too, there's a lot of Native American cultures here, and there's been a lot of indigenous cultures that we've ran into, too, on our investigations. So we do ghost towns. We investigate private homes, businesses, cemeteries. We even investigate fields and trees and different items.
What kind of items?
Well, one time we investigated a teapot that came from the Civil War, and there was a soldier that just was not going to give that up. It liked where it was sitting, and if anybody got near it, he could literally make that teapot disappear. Looks like a little coffee pot, actually, but it was a teapot, and the spirit just wasn't going to let anybody take it from where it was housed at a person's home.
So would they deport it? Like, what's the word? Instead of an apport, when those bring in an apport?
I think it's called desport. Yeah, it would just make it disappear.
Wow.
Just right in front of you. It just, boom, it's gone. And then there was a noted down in Genoa. That's a little town about 12, 15 miles from Carson City. There's an antique store there, and she has a very noted painting of roses sitting on a table. And every time that that painting is wanting to be sold, or somebody wants to buy it, it will disappear, it will drop, it will break. It does strange things because it won't leave either.
Right. Okay, I've seen things like that happen, so I know exactly what you're talking about. That's amazing. So when something like that happens, do you think the spirit is actually handling it, or is it where is it going? It's going to another plane, like the object?
I'm thinking that they can take it to another plane, but now, like with the painting, I was very fortunate in capturing the lady's energy orb that was on it. She said that that's her painting. She doesn't want it to leave the antique store. that she felt comfortable with it being at the antique store because she knew that the owner of the store loved that painting and wouldn't let any harm come to it. And so she just would drop it off the wall or make it disappear until I talked with the store owner and told her, don't try and sell this painting because it's just not going to be a doable thing.
It's not going to happen.
And the lady is hanging on to it for dear life. I mean, she's got her arms wrapped around it, and she's just not about to let it go off the wall.
My goodness. Mm-hmm. So was she the original owner or the artist? Do you know?
Well, they say it was a spirit painting, that it came through as a spiritual painting. I think, gosh, if I can remember, I think it was like in the 1920s. And I guess the lady that owned the painting is now obviously crossed over, and she's not about to let it get in anybody else's hands.
Right. That's fascinating.
It is. It's fun, yeah.
Maybe that's why I can't sell my house. I've got my house on the market, and I can't sell it. Maybe somebody's holding on to it.
You got ghosts that don't want you to leave, I guess. Huh?
You know, I actually buried a St. Joseph statue in my front yard by the for sale sign, figuring that might help. And I dug him up about a week ago, and I rinsed him off. I put him on the kitchen counter, and I yelled at him.
Well, hopefully that'll work for you. That's good.
Well,
I like that.
We'll see.
Yeah, you bet.
He's been out there for 2 months, so, you know, obviously.
Well, he needed to be yelled at.
Yeah, I thought it was time.
Yeah.
So, Sandie, you mentioned that you're also investigating fields and trees and outdoors.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do that too because there's, as I was saying earlier, there's a lot of Native American cultures that had settled here and a lot of indigenous cultures too, where we have actually tripped over burial grounds where they've lived, their ritual sites. And I have to admit, I love talking to the people that were here a couple thousand years ago. They were very spiritual. They were very loving. They lived off the land. And they're fabulous spirits to speak to because they are so wise. We could really learn a lot from them if we would just listen to them. And so, in fact, just this past weekend we were on an investigation, and there's a Russian olive tree that was in this field, and there was lots of activity around that tree. Really? A team member felt a very, very warm spot, and when I went to look for it, I ended up like somebody had opened up a freezer door. I was in the same spot she was, but it was ice cold.
That's amazing. So how many?
Pardon?
Yes, sir. You think there were several spirits there then, you were saying?
Yeah, I did an interview, and I was with a warrior of that time, and he was telling me that right underneath our feet there were 12 buried, like shamans, medicine women.
Oh.
And, you know, like a war hero kind of thing. Yeah, they were very, very noted and powerful people, and we could feel it. And the people that lived on that land, they said that every time they walk over to this tree, they just feel something, but they don't know what it is.
They feel an energy or something, yeah. Now, how do you hear them?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so what do you hear?
I hear people talking to me just like you're talking to me now. It's incredible. They just speak with me. They can't have full conversations. They don't have the energy for that. But if I ask them a question, they'll say yes, no, tell me their hair color, 2 or 3 word responses, and that's about it.
Now, do they communicate in English, I guess?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they can because it's like thought transferences that just gets past any language barrier.
Right. Okay. So it doesn't matter what language they're actually speaking. When it gets transferred to you, you understand it in English.
Yes, in English.
Right. Can you feel them?
Oh yeah, I get touched all the time. Yeah, they'll hold my hand. They'll hug me. They'll tickle the top of my head.
I get that a lot at home.
Oh yeah, and they'll tickle my ankles or legs. Hands. They're always touching me. I don't like it when we get a hold of a spirit that just doesn't really like people because I've had my hair pulled and I've been shoved and horrible.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. What do you do when you get shoved?
There's been a couple of times that we were doing a local hotel here that had kind of a bad spirit, and he pulled my hair, and I just turned around and told him, "Don't you ever touch me again."
You didn't try to smack him, did you?
Yeah, I should have, but I'm just going to smack air, that's for sure. But no, I just let him know, that's not acceptable. Do not touch me that way. And they
did he adhere to that?
Oh, he just snarled and sneered at me, but that's okay. You can snarl and sneer all you want at me.
Yeah.
But he didn't touch me after that.
Was that one of your scariest investigations, or can you tell us about some other?
The scariest investigations that I've been on to date is the store that I read at. It's called All Things Mystical, and there is this like warehouse behind it, and there's a back door that leads to the warehouse. And we were on investigation because there has been an awful lot of activity there. Well, to make a long story short, there was a very bad demon. I'm just going to say, I hate that word, but that's the only thing that I can describe. It shoved me up against the wall and was choking me. And so that was pretty scary. And
was there anybody else there, Sandie?
There was, my whole team was there. It's just they really couldn't do anything. They were kind of like stunned, and so was I. And the store manager, he's pretty intuitive himself. He literally, he's a big guy. He had to come out, and he just forced me back into the store. The demon thing couldn't follow into the store. He knew that, but the man just took me by the hand and drug me into the store. And there for a while, I was kind of like a yo-yo for a couple of seconds because the demon had a hold of my one arm, and the man had a hold of my other. He was trying to pull me in. The demon was trying to keep me out. Finally, the man that runs the store, he pulled me in, and then I was okay.
My heart is pounding just listening to that. I can't believe that. Now, why wouldn't the demon be able to come in the store? Because it's blessed, I guess? Yeah,
it's blessed, and because the store manager, he's very intuitive himself. He just won't allow things like that in there. We're a spiritual store, and we're there for goodness and, all kinds of cool stuff. We can't have that kind of thing in there.
Right.
And the demon just kind of like, it's stuck out there. I found out it's just kind of like I don't want to say an elemental, because I don't want to.
Probably similar, right?
Yeah, but it's not a very good spirit, and it's stuck there, and it's like, I'm sorry, this is your own private hell, and you just got to be here, and there's really nothing anybody could do about it. But it did not like me, and it sure let me know.
That's horrible. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, Sandie, I was okay. It's just that what they do is if there's a spirit that doesn't really care for me, I'll start coughing, and it's like, okay, I think I'll leave now. But if a spirit just like totally detests me, they'll just kind of like take the air out of my lungs, and I gasp for air, and I start choking. And so it's like, excuse me, I think I better leave.
Right. Oh, that is scary.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, but it's kind of like all part of the game because I'm just so open and a conduit for it that I have to really be careful. I carry tons of talismans on me, with me, but sometimes, something will sneak in. So.
And what about afterwards? After you're out of the area, what do you do to kind of cleanse or?
Well, yes. Normally, I have this big, huge honking piece of black obsidian, and that will get me back into being a human again. And then I let my heart rate slow up, and I catch my breath, and then it's like, oh, okay, I just can't go out there anymore.
Yeah.
I
enough is enough.
Right, yeah, I can only, physically, I can only handle that.
How long would it take you to get your energy back after something like that?
Oh, goodness. That took me probably a good 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That really drained me because they just, like a psychic vampire, they just suck the energy right out.
That's awful.
Yeah, I don't like those. Those are creepy.
Sandie, what's the difference between an elemental and, say, a thought form?
Well, an elemental comes from the earth. They are the air, they are the water, they are the fire, they are the earth, okay? And they work with those type of energies. But now, what was the other one? A thought form?
Well, a thought form, because I thought that people could also create elementals with by wanting to create one, by visualizing them, manifesting them.
Oh, well, I'm sure that they probably could, but I'd advise anybody that if you're working with them or you do want to have one materialize, be very, very careful. It's not that they're horrible, it's just that they're very powerful, and the normal human being just cannot work with them.
You probably can't control them either once they're
exactly,
unleashed.
because they are so powerful. So anybody out there, if you want to work with the elementals, please be careful. And if you are thinking and, bringing forth a thought form, please, there again, be very careful. They're wonderful, but if you don't know how to handle them and if you don't know how to work with them, you can get in trouble real quick. And
I can imagine.
Then it's just not cool anymore.
Yeah, I think I would just totally stay away from that.
Yeah, I don't like working with them just because they're going to put me to the test, and I don't want to do that. I'm put to the test enough with the ghosts that I run into.
Definitely. Now, Sandie, you were telling me that you have some comical experiences as well to share.
Oh, yeah. There's been a couple, I just love that the spiritual world are so cool. We were at a local ghost town, and there's a noted opera house there, and we were interviewing, actually, kind of like an old cowboy that was there. And we were sitting down in these chairs, and all of a sudden I kept hearing this, and I thought, what in the world? Well, I turned around, and there was this woman that was very cultured, very pristine. She was dressed to the nines, and she was just indignant that we weren't interviewing her. It's like, well, we're sorry, but you didn't show up a few minutes ago. But she was so upset. And then a couple of weeks ago, we were in a cemetery, and there was a war correspondent from the Mexican-American War, and my daughter was with us, and she's 17. She's real pretty.
Yes.
And this man, he was 23. He was an Italian, and he just fell in love with her.
Really?
The dowsing rods that we used to interview, they kept pointing to her. He would answer her questions. He'd say, take my picture. He had it bad.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny. It really is. I love the people that have crossed over there. They have their own characters just like they do in their human form. They're fun.
I was just going to say the same thing. Character plus. They must retain it all, even on the other side.
I think they do. I think they evolve, but I don't know, for a while, they're fabulous. They're just
Sandie, I hope you're going to come back and share some more of your stories.
Oh, well, thank you. I would love to.
That would be great. And I also want to talk to you, of course, about some more tips and so on for potential ghost hunters. So,
that would be
hopefully we'll talk to you very soon. Rob, we didn't let you talk. Are you there?
Oh, was I allowed to talk?
No.
No, that was running so good. I didn't want to get into evolve. That was very good. Thank you very much. That was great.
Great.
Well,
I think our listeners are going to really enjoy this.
I certainly hope so. I sure did.
Oh, and me too. This was fun.
That's great. Okay, for everybody then.
Can I just tell you something, Sandie? When you come across like a dark ghost, right? Yeah, like they're not allowed to touch you. Okay.
Okay.
They're not. They're not allowed to touch you at all. I mean, if you got across to what you called them a demon, and he touched you, invoke whoever you want, but they're not allowed to touch you. That's like totally incorrect. You can get touched by a nice ghost. Don't get me wrong, but demons are not allowed. There's a big rule, and the one that comes and gets them is their boss, or if you will, he knows that's the rule. He made it, so yeah.
Okay.
Who
that's
comes and gets them, Rob?
The devil.
Okay.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
The devil controls that, and he just that is his rule. They know it. They're not supposed to. Oh. So it might not have been a demon, because demons are really afraid of the devil.
Right. And, I just kind of put that word on it because I didn't know how else to kind of describe it.
Explain it. Yeah.
But it's interesting.
Yeah.
Very.
Well, I don't want to run into that again.
No, you won't. We're going to surround you with light, and no way. It's not going to happen again.
No light.
You bet.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay, I've done a fair amount of hunting myself, but my hunting is is relegated to getting rid of. Not really going talking
I see.
to.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
for you,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's fun. But it's been
we'll
great
definitely have
talking
to compare notes then.
Oh, you bet.
Oh, it'd be great. One day we'll have a communication. This is great. And, I was wondering if you get a chance to see, like, John Edwards, and when he's talking to what he says is his spirits, do you see them, and can you confirm that he's sometimes at least legitimate?
I could if I ever watched a show. I have to admit I've never seen it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I find it very interesting too. It's very popular now.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
He's not on anymore. John Edwards.
He is by us.
He is.
Yeah, actually,
Oh,
he's on like all the time. I think he's like got a channel now.
Are they reruns though?
Yeah, a lot of reruns and new stuff too. But
okay. You know why? Because I watched his show religiously. I loved him. One of the very few people that I really trusted, and I enjoyed his show very much. And I understood a few years ago that he quit doing the show because he was being pressured too much by management to actually make things more interesting than perhaps they really were, to embellish. So he retreated into private life, as far as I know. Now, whether he's back or not, I'm not sure. But
no, he just spent a couple $1 million on creating a podcast for himself. No,
really?
Okay, then. He's not going to give that up. He just wanted control.
Okay. I'll have to look him up then.
I understand that totally.
Yeah, okay. Good to know.
Yeah. That's great.
Learn something new every day.
Well, thanks again.
Okay, then. Thank you.
This has been
Sandie,
fun, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
It was great having you here, and I'll talk to you soon, and hopefully we'll see you on the show really soon, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandie. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Good night, and we'll see you next week.